Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon to all. As mentioned, I'm Rizwan Sheikh, Pakistan's new ambassador to United States. I just started my job less than 2 months ago, and what brings me here in terms of the mission that I have defined for myself, and also luckily the one that was accorded to me before coming here, is not only to work on Pak-US relations, a relationship that has certainly seen twists and turns, crests and troughs over the past 7.5 decades, a little more, but to focus mainly, during my tenure at least, on the economic aspect of this relationship. As I said, this is a relationship that, despite many twists and turns, highs and lows, ups and downs, has stood the test of times. Multiple tests of times, not one, not two, multiple tests of times. It's actually, since heritage and history was being mentioned here by Amir Haider Saab, the heritage of this relationship is that it has been consequential. Each time Pakistan and United States have come together, mainly for reasons of geopolitics, the relationship has been consequential not only for us as two partnering countries, but generally, and there's a high frequency there, for the world at large. Soviet Union, Afghan Jihad, combat against terrorism, you name it. Each time we have partnered, it has been consequential. So now, going forward, with a focus on economic diplomacy, why is it so? It is so because this is one facet of relationship that has survived all through, even the most difficult periods in our relationship. United States today is still our single largest trading partner. And this state, California, is the state where we have the highest number or the highest figure of exports from Pakistan, trade with Pakistan. And this crowd here in the Silicon Valley today is already at the center of it, but it is going to assume, I believe, and that is where I intend to work with you, and that is what brings me here today to address this very learned, very accomplished gathering, is that this is going to be at the center stage for the foreseeable future. Why is that? Again, let me ask questions and answer them myself. Well, it is so because Pakistan is one of the most youthful, if not the most youthful countries in the world. 65% of our population is below the age of 35. Now, that population, with an optimistic outlook on future, and there shouldn't be any other outlook except an optimistic one, lends us reasons for optimism because it promises demographic dividend. And when we look at that and look at the situation right now, particularly with reference to your sector, without state intervention, without the government intervening, as we speak, Pakistan is mostly second, at times third, but when it is second only to United States itself when it comes to IT freelancing in the world. And that is what our youth is doing on its own, without state intervention. And now that we have realized, as at the state level, that not only it is a low-hanging fruit, it carries the promise, it is pregnant with the promise of early harvest. because Pakistan, as you all know, has lately been through economic issues, economic woes. But things are now looking up. Let me briefly share a synopsis. Only 2 years ago, we had an inflation rate of 38%. Before joining here, I was in Pakistan, and I can tell you from personal experience that closer to the first week of every month in the last summer that just passed, uh, everybody, including myself, we dreaded the electricity bills, that it is going to somehow show up in a day or two and we'll have to pay it. So the cost of living had gone up over the past 2 years, 38%, 2 years back. In September, it was the inflation, monthly inflation rate was 6.9%. In October, it has gone up slightly, 7.2, but it has come down to single digit. The expectation of getting there, even in terms of government's estimates and the IMF estimates, what was that we will reach there by the end of this financial year, so around 30th of June next year. But we have done well. So things are looking up. Our stock market is perhaps a star performer, at least in the region, and even perhaps now ascendant when it comes to comparison with the globe. I mean, it has been hitting not only the 90,000 mark, the psychological barrier that it crossed, but it has still been ascendant. So these are just some of the figures. I can go into detail, but I would stop here and focus on this Silicon Valley crowd. Now, with this youthful configuration of population and the fact that we are churning out 35,000 IT graduates even now, and now that the government has decided that this is going to be a sector of focus, and we are, as a state, going to and embark on affording a good legal, physical, financial infrastructure for this sector to prosper. So certainly, there is every reason not only to go for that, to work in that direction, but to seek consultancy, to seek advice, to seek perspective from actually the practitioners, the people who are going to be the beneficiaries of this on both sides here in the United States, because 62% of our IT exposure with the rest of the world is with the United States. So there's every reason to consult the constituency that we have here when it comes to IT, just staying on this sector as of now. But there are other sectors as well. And since you are overall entrepreneurs, so Pakistan is focusing on economic diplomacy, not just in terms of policy formulation, but in terms of policy pronouncement. We realize that we have been, for better part of our national history, reaping a disadvantage of our geography because we have found ourselves with congenital security issues and turmoil that has only increased over the period of our independent existence as a nation state in a particularly volatile region, that our geography is perhaps so far bringing us disadvantage. Some 4 to 5 years back, we decided that our policy thrust, including the foreign policy, would not be on geopolitics but geoeconomics, because the same geography is an advantage. One example: the liquidity, for instance, in today's world is in China as well as in the GCC region. Now, Pakistan is situated in between. And we afford a kind of connectivity, again, from a geographical standpoint, which perhaps may not be available to any other country in the world today. So, this is just one thing. And when it comes to, perhaps I should mention, the portrayed binary choice in today's world between one or the other economic power in today's world, the bipolarity as it is being construed and portrayed and projected. Now, Pakistan is a country, had it not been there in early 70s, The two largest economies in the world, imagine they would not have been on talking terms, perhaps. We afforded a diplomatic corridor in early 70s. Today, we can again be a bridge. The geography affords us that luxury. Between China and United States, we have the economic corridor. Nothing new, nothing out of this world, because in this region, you have an example, a comparison. Mexico is, of course, adjacent to United States. It is part of certainly a free trade arrangement with Canada and United States. It is being termed in the emerging IFI parlance as a connector country with burgeoning trade and investment from China. So, starting with World Bank, executives like Geeta Mohan, etc. She has a lecture. You can go and watch it here at Stanford, in this city. She says that Mexico is a connector country. So it's the same with Pakistan. We have an FTA with China. United States is our largest trading partner. Our geography lends us that kind of luxury or affords us that opportunity to have good relations with both. Play the role of a bridge builder in between both these countries. And in any case, regardless of whatever may be portrayed in terms of binary choices, let me say as a diplomat that as a sovereign country, we are entitled to have good relations with either country, any country, and both countries at the same time. Setting that aside, now I have come here at Open with an open heart and open mind to offer you that during my stay here, I'll be working very, very closely, and I'm choosing my words very carefully. I'll be working closely with this important constituency of Pakistanis in United States, of accomplished people who have certainly done a lot, but there is a lot that remains to be done, with particular reference to solidifying, fortifying, strengthening economic ties between our two countries. So, what I offer is that starting with an open focal point or an open desk at all the four consulates and the Embassy of Pakistan in Washington, D.C., to all members of Open, we offer you direct access for problem solving. In trying to lean to your heritage, that's the exact words that I heard Amir Bhai saying, leaning to your heritage, we will provide you the opportunity of reaching to us directly, giving us your problems, individual, collective, firm based, here or there in Pakistan, because as an ambassador, as the consul general, we have the ears both here in United States, being the government agents from Pakistan, dealing with this side of the governance, and also in Pakistan. So anything that we can facilitate with starting today, we will notify that, of course, in a day or two. It's a long weekend. But all the four consulate generals of Pakistan in Houston, LA, New York, Chicago will have a desk or a focal person dedicated to listening to Open, solving their problems. Maybe since you're all technology people or in the tech valley, we can perhaps also look into having a portal or something where direct access can be made. This is one. Now, if we intend to work together, there has to be, something from your side as well. While we expect that you would coordinate with us, uh, give us your problems, give us projects that we can hand hold, hand carry, and even do a bit of matchmaking back home in Pakistan to give you credible partners. You will also be integrating as chapters of Open in United States, because that is also important. While you talk to us separately, you should also be talking to each other. That is perhaps significant, because this coordination, I am sure from my experience of coordination during my career elsewhere, that it is likely to bring and bear fruits. So this is perhaps the second thing that I can only encourage you and request you to do. But one thing I request you is, and that is going to be my parting thought, there'll be more opportunities to talk to you, is that please come together. I need every bit of support that I can get from every one of you in trying to fortify economic ties between Pakistan and United States. IT, I'm standing in this Silicon Valley in particular, there is a lot that Pakistan has to offer in terms of cost and quality competitiveness that we bring on table when it comes to IT in particular. Just what we lack is branding. We are cost competitive and quality competitive, even 20 to 30% compared to our better branded eastern neighbor. But let's acknowledge that they have better ingress, they have better branding. We need that bit of ingress that you can help find us, each one of you, IT, other sectors, but economic diplomacy is the focus because these are relations that are going to be the best underwriting of bilateral ties. It will not survive only my tenure if we can sow these seeds, the tenure of the Consul General standing there, but it will survive us as a generation and support your identity in United States, which is going to be Pakistani for the foreseeable future for your generations. So it will survive us as a generation. So I invite you, in terms of my parting thought, to profit from the promise of Pakistan. And I leave you, tech people, with a hashtag that you can help me promote Sirf Pakistan. Thank you.